What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with a new episode of Fuck This Review, where today I'm going to be talking about Kid Cudi's new album, Man on the Moon 3, The Chosen.
As he falls back deeper.
Let's just start by saying, let's welcome back the Rager himself, Kid Cudi. We've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for, as a Cudi fan, you appreciate all the eclectic stuff he does as far as albums like Passion Pain, what is it called? Speed and Bullet, Indica, Wizard. You appreciate all those albums, but somewhere deep inside of you, you're ready for Cudi just to give you the thing that you fell in love with. That being, you know, the trilogy closure in a way of Man on the Moon. This album is probably like the last Man on the Moon came out about 10 years ago, and this one's probably like announced probably like 5 years ago. So we've been waiting for this final installment for a long time. I wasn't sure. I don't know why I didn't think it would come out this year. I mean, I follow Kid Cudi and I hear him talk about he has a soundtrack to his new Netflix show that he's working on. He's got the Scott's album with Travis Scott that he's working on. So this one was I knew he was working on this one, but I just didn't know it would drop this year. Especially like it's great because everybody's been going through mental ups and downs this year, and what better way to close it out than with a new Kid Cudi album? So I was eager to listen to it. I wanted to take my time with this review. I didn't want to rush it and just do a reaction videos to, you know, Cudi's an artist that you just don't. You got to give your ear and time to him. For me anyway, being a Kid Cudi fan, I just don't want to. I just didn't want to just rush into the review and that nature. So I wanted to take my time, understand what was going on with the songs. So that's what I did, and now I'm here to review it. So let's get into it. All right, so the album is broken down into 4 acts. We have Act 1, which is The Return of Madness, The Rager, The Menace, the second act. We have Heart of Rose Gold, which is the third act, and the final act is Powers. Um, to me, I'm not sure if I'm the only one who caught this, and I might just be like looking into it a little bit too hard. But for me, each act is a representation, I would say, like of a Cudi album already. For instance, you have Return to Madness, which I think is like a reflection of the first Man on the Moon. Then we have The Rager, The Menace, the second album, and then we have Heart of Rose Gold, which I think is Passion, Pain, and Demon Slam, and then we have Powers, which I think is Indica. Like he says on one of the songs of Indica, like I used to tell all my friends when I was young I had superpowers, but nobody believed me, and I might be like jumping the gun with that, but if you notice that, let me know in the reviews. Yeah, I think it's just an ode to his some of his best work. Like, and if that's true, that makes this album even more doper. The producers that worked on this album, Dot the Genius, Plain Pat, Mike Dean, Emil. I think he went back to his essence to not just to recreate that sound, but I think he Cudi found his most magic is done with Emil and Plain Pat and Dot the Genius. Like that sound is what curated the Cudi we love. So it was just nice for him to, even Mike Dean, it was nice for him to not so much reconnect, but just give us an album with them, just period, them connecting in the studio and making this great album. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the beats on here are pretty fucking dope. Some of the best Kid Cudi production I think in a long time, in a long time. And I like Kid Cudi's. I like his last album, not Kid See Ghost, but Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying. I like some songs on there. I thought it was a little bit too long, but for the most part, I like that album. The way I wanted to do this review, which I thought was appropriate since it's Kid Cudi and with the Man on the Moon series, he always does the acts. So I just wanted to this review, I wanted to break it down. Each act, I wanted to break it down a little bit, just to show each portion of Kid Cudi some love. You know what I mean? Because I don't think it's just a bunch of collection of songs put together. I think it's well thought out. So I wanted to break down the acts. So Act 1, The Return of the Madness. I think, I think that's like nice Cudi. I think that's like. It starts off with a skit to let you know what you're about to get into, but I think the first act is nice Cudi. Tequila Shots is automatic, one of my favorite Kid Cudi songs of all time already. I just like that song. He's a tell my mama, like I just love it's like, okay, let me get in my emotion, let me get my mental bag again. Like, what do you say? Something like, I love when he does the end of the pre-hook when he's like, I crash and burn, dun 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 dun, like that flow that he needs stretch out the burn. Like that part is just fucking dope. That's like classic Kid Cudi that I love. Uh, yeah, you just tell your mom I'm sorry, like for the shit that I'm about to go through. The shit he knows with, I guess he knows with, for lack of better words, what this can sound like and what trip he's about to go down again. But with all that being said, I think the first act is nice, Cudi. We get She Knows This, which I love the video. I love the Will Smith cameo, and I said, "You're fucking right, Will Smith." And like, I just I thought that if any song on this album could be picked as a single first, I think that obviously should be the first one. I think that's the beat on that one is pretty dope. And Cudi's rapping again. I'm just so happy that fucking Kid Cudi's rapping again. Like I said, I love the eclectic Cudi and singing and all that, but the Cudi that I fell in love with is rapping Cudi, and it's like I don't look at him like I would look at like a Kendrick or Jay-Z or something like that, lyrical miracle, but he raps like like he can rap. Like I just can't take that away from him. But like I said, the first act is a little bit more fun to me. It's more welcoming. It has the more radio friendly songs on it. And I think it was just a great way to start the album, especially since it's the return of Man on the Moon, uh, closing it out. I just think let's give him the flowers first before we give him the medicine, if that makes sense. So I like the first act. My favorite songs, a couple of my favorite songs probably come from the first act. We got Another Day, Tequila Shots, She Knows It, Dive. It's just yeah. Second act, I think to me that's the what I got from it from listening to it. The second act is more the ego Cudi, right? It's more uh, self-indulgent part of Cudi. I don't need anyone kind of vibes. You get Damage, Hell on Earth, Show Out, and Mr. Solo Dolo Part 3. And I think all those are like, I don't need you bitches. I'm fucking Kid Cudi. I'm the coolest motherfucker on the planet. Kiss My Ass kind of Cudi that, you know, when I hear this, when I hear Act 2, it reminds me of Kid Cudi. Remember the TMZ video when he like lifting up his car door and butterfly doors and like throwing it like that, yeah, rock star Cudi in a way. So I thought that, and we get Pop Smoke, like what is the word? I don't, whatever. We get a Pop Smoke verse, well, hook, and I was listening to the Apple interview, and Kid Cudi was saying how Dr. Jeans was working with Pop Smoke early on, and they created this song. And when Pop Smoke was creating it, Stephen Victor said that he said he could see Kid Cudi on this song. So for Kid Cudi to get the song, and I love just keeping Pop Smoke's spirit alive. So the more we hear him, these verses and hooks, it just keeps his spirit alive for me, and you just can't go wrong with me for that. Because yeah, he was on his way to be one of the greats for me anyway. So it was good to see Cudi connect with him, and you just don't see Cudi reach out. I wouldn't say reach out, but you rarely see Cudi like he's on the drill beat. Like that's something I least expected from Kid Cudi to be on the drill beat, but he went off on there. Skepta as well. I won't disregard his verses either, but Kid Cudi really showed out on there, and I like the song. So Mr. Solo Dolo Part 3. That's probably like my least favorite Mr. Solo Dolo. I would go with the first one and then the second one with Kendrick, and I'll put this one on there. But like, it didn't even have to be called Mr. Solo Dodo, but I get it. Like, once you hear it back, you hear I don't need anyone kind of vibes and things of that nature. So I get it. I get why it's called that. But it's probably my least one. It's not a bad song, but compared to the other two, especially the first one, yeah. Then we get into Act 3, which is, let me see, Act 3, The Heart of Rose Gold. And that Kid Cudi, I think Act 3 is more of self-reflective part of Cudi. This is probably my favorite act on the album. Like I said, I love the rapping Cudi, but the Cudi that I really love and the one that really tugs at my heartstrings and emotions is the emotional Cudi. It's the Pursuit of Happiness songs. It's Sad People, Elsa's Baby Boy. When Elsa's Baby Boy came on, I was like, oh, This is this is like I just wasn't ready for that yet. Like I'm going through the album, I'm bopping, I'm dancing, and I'm turned up, and then we get to the sad part of Cudi, and I'm like, ah, goddamn, I wasn't ready yet. But here we go. I just found out September 16th is his girlfriend's birthday, so that's a nice love song. Um, but like I said, I think part Act Three is the self-reflecting Cudi, and he sees the man he is that might hurt the people around him, and that like his girlfriend, his mom, things of that nature. And like I said, it's probably my favorite part of the album is when we get to that. It's just not saying that he wasn't telling the truth or anything from the first two acts. It's just that we get the hums, we get those monstrous hooks I love from Cudi. Cudi has some of the best hooks ever. But those songs in Act Three, like they emotionally pull you in, and some of them are even hard to keep listening to because it tugs at your emotional strings. Like the song about his mom is really fucking dope, man. And even it that touches back to the first album when he said, uh, had one older sister kept me fly when she could, but he talks about, had one older sister, two young brother, like, and how he was just, just a little sad boy, eldest baby boy. Like it's just dope, man. Even sad people, I thought that was dope. I mean, he touched on the intro as well. He's like, I'm not just some little sad boy making sad songs type of stuff. Like, but yeah, he speaks for people who are going through a lot, and that's why we love Cudi. And yeah, that's what I thought of Act Three. Act Four, I think I looked at that. Act Four starts at I think it's Pale Moonlight. Yeah, Pale Moonlight. Uh, I think that's more of just finding peace with everything. Like all these all these emotions and baggage, emotional baggage and mental wear downs and happiness, all this stuff leads to the just to peace. Like I'm happy with who I am. Yeah, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to find my way. I'm trying to do better. And you can see the growth. Like that's one thing that I noticed with this album. It's very growth driven for Cudi. It's more focused than we got of Cudi in recent years. Uh, and he seems, for lack of better words, just happy. Just listening to the Apple interview that he did, he just seems more happy. Like he understands himself. He understands his flaws. He understands his pros, his cons. He understands everything that will makes him him, and he's not so much looking at it so in a negative light. Like Cudi's always had that fight. Every album is like a fight. It's like a fight to be happy, and like I think for the most part on this album, he found happiness at least to this point. I could be totally wrong, and I could be misinterpreting this whole thing, but I do think the final act closes out with just peace. So not just happiness, but just peace. So I got that from the fourth act. And I like Rockstar Nights, and I love Lord I Know. Like I think Lord I Know was like a dope way to end the album. And he's spinning like I can't ask more of Kid Cudi. Like I just want to hear Kid Cudi rap sometimes, just because that's the way I was introduced to him. So it's just a joy to close out with that. And yeah, I just think it was dope. I'll say this: I can't do this review without being totally honest about everything. Some things, one thing that really stood out to me of just like kind of negative and just it just made me think is that some of the songs sound like Travis Scott. I think I'm not the only one who heard that, and it kind of fucks me up because I'm like Travis Scott sounds like Cudi, but I could hear the Travis Scott influence on the album, like even the beat selection, some of the ad libs, some of the way that auto tune is used. I could hear Travis Scott influence on this, and for good or bad, it's just something I noticed that some of these songs could be a Travis Scott song, like what is it? I think "Sad People" is one of the ones I thought could sound like a Travis Scott song. Uh, "Dive" definitely sounds like it could be a Travis Scott song. Uh, Even "Tequila Shots," like the way the beat is structured, it's totally like a Travis Scott song. But like I said, it's like a tug of war with me because I'm like I know Travis Scott is influenced by Kid Cudi, and I know Kid Cudi got to be influenced by Travis Scott, but it was just a tug of war for me. It's not that the songs are bad or anything. It's just one of those things like, oh shit, Kid Cudi, this sounds. I couldn't help but think that this. sounds like a Travis Scott song. Some of the songs in a way. So if I had one negative critique, it'd be that. But it's cool. That's not even like a big gripe for me. It's just one. If I had to pick a negative thing, that would be the negative thing. Let's get into best songs. Some of my favorite songs on the album, I would go with "She Knows It," Else's Baby Boy, and "Damage." I thought "Damage" is fucking dope. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Worst song. Uh, Let me see. Uh, Unfortunately, the Void. I'm gonna go with the Void. I'm gonna go with the Void. Sorry, I didn't want to pick a bad song, but I had to. Best line, he says, "When the time comes, I'll find peace. Still in search of nights. I'm sitting and wishing I could find love in me." Uh, yeah, that pretty much sums up Kid Cudi to me. I was going through the album. I was like, what line? And I was like, okay, that one pretty much sums up Kid Cudi to me. All right, fucks given for this album. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it four out of five. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5.
The women giving love and easy sinning. Suppose you got two hoes that go both ways, don't know my limits, know what it is.
In closing, I just like I said, I just want to welcome back the Rager himself, Kid Cudi. I think this is the Kid Cudi that we all Kid Cudi fans been waiting for. Just give us a great album again so we could like yeah, because I could find things that's dope on all Kid Cudi albums, but I can't say that I'm gonna listen to all of the album in a way. But I found myself, I went back to this album a lot. I ran to it a couple times. I listened to it when it first came out, like the night of on my speakers. So I really was indulgent. I was just happy with the product. I'm happy that he took his time. I'm happy that his maturity. I'm happy that his growth. I'm happy that he found peace. And the first week numbers are fucking great. It's probably some of the best numbers he's done in a while. I think he's like at 155 to 175, something like that. He's gonna come in two after Taylor Swift, boo. But I thought it was weird that their record company, because they're both signed to Republic, that they would drop them both on the same day. Maybe because it was the fourth quarter and close to Christmas, they were just like, let's just flood the market and get all the sales. Because Kid Cudi could have easily had a #1 album. I think probably his first #1 album, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but this could have been his first #1 album with selling upward of 100,000 records. But what ifs? Long as the fans get to love it and enjoy it, I think that's all that matters at the end of the day. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I enjoy this album. I'll be going back to it. It's probably close to some of my favorite Kid Cudi albums. I don't know. I don't know if it's past the first two Man on the Moons, but it's a nice closeout to the trilogy. Even though at the end on the last song you say "to be continued," and I'm like, don't do this. Like just close out the trilogy. Don't make it like the Carter series and keep going. There's like 10 Carters, but I think this, if it is, I think was a nice way to close out the series. Yeah. Well, I hate to say that I love sad Kid Cudi. And I want him to stay sad so he can keep making great music to help me when I'm sad. But as always, I'm Tatum. Fuck this review. Peace.